Welcome back to What She Said, where we are breaking down what on earth went on in Mafs universe this week. Now, if you're thinking, why did Brooke suddenly leave? How is Bec now besties with Gia? And where did that disconnect between the intimacy week in episode 11 and the dinner party in episode 12 come from? Well, we are here to chat about it all. Joining me, of course, is my co-host Emma, and a special guest with us to talk about our thoughts, feelings, and emotions on it all is the fabulous Chrissie Hearn.
Thank you. Hello, fabulous ones.
Well, I guess to understand the whole disconnect and how we ended up where we ended up at the dinner party, we need to go back to the start of intimacy week. So it saw everyone, well, mostly the ladies, putting out the vibes for their ultimate fantasy night. And we had a mix of painting on a canvas, painting on each other's body, putt-putt, questions.
20 questions.
Interrogation? Let's be honest.
My thoughts were, surely they were questions that you should have been asking for the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, you think so.
Not intimacy. I'm curious, though, what were your favourite intimacy week activities? I'll tell you mine. Mine was Bec and Dani.
What's going on here? Are you painting on me right now? Mm-hmm. What are you painting?
I'm painting on you words that, when I think about you and our relationship, come to mind. You okay, babe?
It's actually quite relaxing. Feels good. I like it.
Yeah? Do you?
Edible body paint would have been my pick, but, you know.
Well, I was very surprised that she was able to find any space on his body to put those words on his body.
She could have just coloured him in, couldn't she, really?
Yeah.
Bloody get some Crayolas out and off you go. Look, it was a real little mixed bag, wasn't it? We had the body paint, we had the sitting down and the interrogation. How he put up with that, I have no idea, because I'm thinking any moment he's going to pass across the resume, because it was like a job interview. Then you had that poor woman, Rebecca. What's his name? Because he's just unforgettable, isn't it? Yeah, Steve, he just let the side down. Wouldn't you just think he would be open to this beautiful woman who's pretty much putting herself on a platter?
That's a concern. So that, yeah.
Gia picked this out for me because she's like, you're a
Can I have a look? What is it?
She's like, you're a boss bitch.
Yeah. You know, it's.
These things that I picked, just so you know,
Yeah.
are like the most covered up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you wanted me to put it on.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd rather not, because it's not something that I guess, what's the word? It's just not for me.
Like, she was there for it. She 100% wanted in. And he was there rubbing his leg going, oh, there's more about intimacy than getting into an outfit.
I didn't like it, but I don't like him. There's a few comments that people have been writing in. Someone wrote, I'm Team Steve.
Really?
Yes. They said, I wouldn't like to feel pressured into something that hasn't developed that far yet. He's a gentleman. And I completely disagree.
A load of bullshit.
I say he's a control freak.
Yes.
And possibly gay. It didn't go to air, but I'm thinking he's probably swinging that side.
He tried to bring up the whole, my kids, I don't want my kids seeing things. Well, that was my kind of interpretation of what he was trying to say. And I'm thinking, mate, you're a grown man. Yep. They're adults.
But then why go on Married at First Sight? Have you not seen the show? Do you not understand the concept in the weeks?
Yeah.
Anyway, Emma, what was your favourite?
It definitely wasn't Julia's 20 questions.
At school, were you bullied?
Wowza. Sorry, say that again.
Yeah. They're definitely building something. Having like those mindgasms through conversation, that in itself is really beautiful.
That gave me the total ick. It was Luke and Mel actually giving
Really?
each other the 3 minutes looking in the eyes and the 3-minute hug. That for me was really nice, and I want to try that.
No, no, that's not my thing. What about the putt golf?
Yes, I enjoyed that.
I don't think that's
Moon-
intimacy week though, right?
Well,
they're
I think
behind
for
the eight
them,
ball anyway.
yeah, I think for them that really kicked it off and bonded them. I mean, Steve could have even done that and gone, hey, maybe not that, but do you want to go and, like, there was nothing. He was giving nothing.
He'd already left the building. Let's be honest. He has no
100%.
interest in her. And the faster he can get the Uber at the front door, bags packed, he's happy about that. He wants out.
He did say, though, that he thinks she might be here for the wrong reasons, like clout. I've been tracking them as we go to see how much clout people are after. Hers has gone up about 1,000. That's not a lot. She's not posting a lot. She's definitely not after clout. I would disagree with that.
I personally think he was trying to gaslight her or just really try to set her off. Because as soon as she said, maybe I'm too much for you, he's like, yep, that's what it is. You're too much for me. And I think he was just waiting for her to spark so that he could go, yep, see, I'm out. I think he was really just looking for an excuse because he has said multiple times, she's not my usual type. But he hasn't, and no one's ever got into saying, well, what's your usual type?
Man.
I'm always really interested in when they get there and they do the wedding and then, oh, she's beautiful, he's handsome. Oh, but hang on, he's not my usual kind of person that I would go for. Well, no, because nothing else has worked, has it?
Exactly.
You're here to try something different and now you're going, oh, well, he's not my type.
Yeah. You know, the thing that really irks me, and we're not talking about Steve here, I'm going to go back to Julia and Grayson, is that she keeps saying she's bisexual.
Yes.
And a lot of people have been saying in the comments to us is you choose a gender once you're married. You're then faithful to that sex. It doesn't matter what gender it is, whether it's male or female.
Right.
You were bisexual. Now you are monogamous to that one person. Clearly, that's not the story that she wanted. She wanted to marry a woman. And that frustrates me because she's not even giving him a chance.
No, but I'm interested in his facial expressions. God, he's very loud with his facial expressions, isn't he? Like the eyes, I'm thinking, my God, they're about to pop out of their sockets. We haven't talked about the elephant in the room, Gia and Scott.
Oh, I don't think it'll last. It's very much based off of attraction at the moment. And I think that'll fizzle because, and I'll get into it, apparently cracks were starting to show. And it's something that's come out that they will have to deal with in real life.
Give me a little bit of, give me more, just give me a hint.
So we had Intimacy Week. And from what we remember is that at that time, Bec and Gia and Brooke were not all besties. There was
So hang on, there was Bec, who's Dani's wife. Then there was the mean girls,
Gia
and Brooke. Now Gia's name is really Cassandra.
Yes. So Gia, or we'll call her Cassandra, has changed her name about 12 times as far as records show.
God, I'd love to know why. Why are you doing it?
I think from what I saw, she was modeling in magazines back in the day. And I wonder if maybe they were stage names for her modeling.
Fair enough.
And probably for safety reasons as well, I would presume. So that's my thoughts on potentially why she's changed her name so many times. And she's got a different look. So maybe she's just rebirthed. But yes, and then we had Brooke as well. Last we saw, they were all not getting along.
No.
That was the end of episode 11. When we get to episode 12, Gia and Scott are the first lot in. When Bec and Dani walk in, Gia gets up and gives her a hug. Now, to me, I was really taken aback because I was like, hold on, what have I missed here? They sit down, they're clinking champagne glasses together, they're having a chat. Gia's telling Bec how beautiful she looks in the dress.
Come in here, girl time. Boys are gonna go. You look hot. How they?
And I'm confused because that's not where it was left off.
No.
But can I just say, right back at episode 1, I said that they would unite, being Mean Girls, they would unite. And then I kind of liked Gia, and then now I don't. So it's kind of come full circle.
I think you keep your enemies close.
That's what I thought, Chrissy, until.
So a well-known podcaster, Joshua Fox, has a Mafs funny podcast. And I will shout him out because I think it's fabulous and I love what he does. I think it's great. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, he released a two-parter on his podcast of what happened the night of Saturday, which was the day before the dinner party.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
where they've all gone to Icebergs.
Apparently what happened was they had Gia and Scott, Bec and Dani, Mel and Luke, Brooke and Chris, and Rebecca. And they all told the producers that they were going to a movie, going for a walk, whatever they told them. Curfew was 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
One of the Mafs cast contacted Joshua and said, we're all done at Icebergs, come and get some content.
Yes.
So he goes. Now, he says that Bec and Gia bonded together over their mutual dislike for Alyssa and calling her fake and annoying, which doesn't surprise me from how they acted at the girls' day where they were all talking about their partners in the audition.
Yeah, the red flag, green flag.
I also haven't really grown fond of Alyssa. I think that she's too peppy. Some people are just nice and happy all the time, but I find it too much.
That's really not what they're annoyed about. They're calling her fake and saying that her relationship is fake, and I feel like that's a bit cutting below the belt.
I agree.
So now we've established how Bec and Gia got to be besties, which was over the mutual hatred of Alyssa. However, we do also know that Brooke had let them know that she was planning on leaving and writing leave at the next commitment ceremony.
Yeah.
So I think Gia felt, well, my right-hand man is about to leave. I better pony up with somebody else to have my back.
Yes.
That's
okay.
Right.
So that's where I think that has established, because otherwise I think she would have been like, I've still got Brooke. But she didn't, because Brooke was planning to leave.
Yeah.
No.
Gia did seem a little insecure, and they did record that. And I think that was all to save face and for the producers to try and get an episode.
They had to establish how the hell it got to that point.
Yeah. So I believe that whole situation that we saw was fake. I think the producers fed them that.
Do you reckon the producers have had a real hand in this?
Oh, yeah.
The producers have been known to sit in front of doors and corridors in hotels to keep them in.
Yeah,
they do.
But it just seems like this year they're off tap. They've gone rogue. This
is why the budget of Mafs this year is like doubled what it has been in previous years because of legal and compliance. Trying to keep everything under wraps.
So you want to know why I think there's some cracks coming for Scott and Gia? Well, apparently Josh says that while on a night out, he saw some cracks starting to appear, with Gia wanting to kick on and party hard, which we saw from Hen's Night. But Scott is very disciplined with his gym, want to get up at 5 o'clock. I guess he knew he was probably pushing it. But he wanted to be back before curfew so he could get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do his gym session. Now,
boring. Yep.
Right.
Well, I agree. Like, apparently Josh Fox said that he didn't appear to drink either. So, I mean, he was very much sober, and she's very much evidently still a party girl, even though she's a mum. So those two worlds, you know, don't really mesh well.
Will they collide if he has to stay at home while with the
child
we don't know the name of? Yeah. While Gia goes out with her girlies. I can't see that happening. Now, what Joshua also mentions is about Dani and how when Scott and Gia were having their disagreement, Scott went off to cool down and Dani grabs a chair and goes and sits beside Gia. Now, there was a conversation had. Now, he doesn't say that Brooke was anywhere near them. Bec then sees that and storms off. Dani then goes and consoles her and makes everything right again, and then their ride is rain.
I'm hearing a but.
what we then find out from said dinner party that Brooke decides to drop is that while out at Icebergs, Dani told Gia that he's happy where he's at, but on the outside, Gia would be his type.
The Stan after dinner show last night, that was really interesting. I actually really liked it. They were not holding back, the commentators. They were asking the questions.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. They showed everything. So what we didn't hear was the extra comment where Dani says, "I'm happy where I'm at."
Yeah, you don't hear that.
You don't hear that on Mafs. You hear it on the Stan Mafs edition, which I thought was great. And we hear then Dani comes on, and Dani has a conversation with the panel of people.
Yeah.
And they say, "We've actually got an audition tape from you." And what comes out is he says, "I like a natural girl, not someone with full lips and fake everything."
Yep, I saw that.
And so I'm thinking, well, if I'm looking at this, fake everything is what I would put Gia in the basket of.
Yes.
So I don't know whether I believe Dani said it. My pushback is I just don't know why she would lie. However, I don't believe that Brooke heard it. I believe that Brooke was told by Gia, and that's where the text messages come in.
Okay, so you're on the fence.
I'm
you're
on the
thinking
fence.
Dani may or may not have. I am 110% Team Dani.
Yeah.
I have liked his integrity throughout the show so far. I was a little bit thrown off by the way he was dressed on Stan because it wasn't within his very high standard of dressing. So that kind of threw me off a bit with the overalls. I'm thinking, why are we in overalls? I thought it was really telling that Gia didn't attend.
Showed up, but flew back out again.
Why?
Oh, so she's got cold feet.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder then if they thought that they were going to maybe drop some really juicy...
Show me a text message.
Yeah. I want to talk about Brooke. I kind of sat there last night and she had paid no attention to her husband whatsoever.
Yeah.
She wanted the limelight. She was there to drop the bombs. She was there to stir the shit up. She wanted to make an impression so that when she threw the grenade and walked out the exit, it was all going to go absolutely pear-shaped. Why would Gia not say to her, "Mate, don't talk about it. I don't want to discuss it. I don't want anything about Dani and I talked about"? Why did she not do that?
She did at the table. She said, don't bring it up.
Yeah.
And I think that was panic. I think it was, hold on, I've told you, thinking you weren't going to tell anyone because I thought you were leaving. But now you're back.
Yeah, but she wasn't really forceful, though. I thought she was very passive-aggressive. Oh, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Brooke is the root of all evil. Initially, I thought she was really lovely, but I don't buy for a second that the whole "I'm not attracted to fat people" from Chris, I don't buy that gave her an ick. So
I don't either.
Back in the first couple of episodes, she admitted that a psychic had told her that her ex was her soulmate. From what we've seen in the unseen footage, she was in contact with her ex. She'd had sex with him 2 days prior to getting married.
Well, we assume it was him.
The last time I had sex before our wedding was... I don't think you can answer it. I honestly don't truthfully. I don't care. You don't? No. 2 days before the wedding. Jesus Christ.
Is it someone, like, in your life?
Yeah, it is someone in my life, but it's like, that's the thing. I'm like, it doesn't really, like, it is what it is. It's my past. I'm here for Chris now.
Stan showed that unseen footage. It was very evident that there was still a lot of communication going on between her and the ex whilst this whole thing was ongoing.
There's been some speculation that Brooke went back to the Gold Coast a couple of times during filming that wasn't approved by production.
Yeah, none of the times were.
Were you, like, what was the conversation that was had with you guys? Where did you think she was going? What's your impression of that now?
Yes, I think the first time were for cats.
For a cat. She's going back to Gold Coast. Okay. Like real pet cats.
I'm calling bull on that. She went home to see her ex.
Yes,
exactly. Now, knowing that this was all taped in November, right, or thereabouts.
July was when they got married. 31st of July. We know this because as part of their intimacy week and their date, Brooke had them pinned on a canvas. And Chris wrote the date of the wedding on the canvas, and it was the 31st of July, 2025.
I looked up. She's reportedly due between July and August of this year. So
doesn't add up.
We're looking at the pictures of Women's Day. She does not look only a couple of months pregnant. No. But having said that, I think that she will have a, oh my gosh, my baby came early situation. So, yeah.
Stay tuned.
I just don't like the fact that she's misled. She's gone in there and she's really not really given it 100%. She's been having phone conversations, trip back to home, potentially seeing the ex-boyfriend. Her husband's now feelings are being felt.
Yeah.
And then to just have her disappear, to pack the bag and out the door, bye-bye.
It did seem like she had one foot out the door the whole time. And I guess we're hearing from the back end of Stan all of those details about her heading back home and her communication with the ex-partner. We hear in the Stan that she actually text messaged Alyssa to apologize for how she was. And I think it was really just to save face, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I don't think it was
very
any real
tokenistic.
intent. But it was very much put on the producers that they were egging her on. And Gia also came out and said, they were egging me on. They told me to go for Alyssa and go for Stella.
Get fucked, Stella. Literally. She's full of shit. I'm sorry, but look at her. Come on. She has a huge victim's mentality, and she's a fucking pick me. So that Stella's like MO. That's all Stella is. So if there's a way that she can be the victim in a situation, she's going to do it.
I know for a fact everyone will watch this show and see that Alyssa is a fake fucking bitch with those rat shit hair extensions.
If Alyssa and Stella want to get off their fucking high horse for 1 second, they are not the ones in charge of this whole thing, sitting up posing, talking so perfectly all the time because we're on a pageant, guys. I was actually a beauty queen. Her and I are the realest people here. I'm so sorry that they don't know what it's like to have real friends in the world. So they're trying to rally people together to be like, they're mean girls. Fuck off. We're not in high school. We're real bitches. We're standing on business. We're saying what the fuck we think, and we're calling out bullshit.
I don't think that we're mean girls. I think we're real bitches.
Real
and the fact
bitches.
that you're not a part of us
speaks for itself.
And then we also read from the Women's Day article that she says they called her up after she had absconded and said, come back. She said no. They said, we'll give you a new husband. She said no.
No.
But then she came back and they said, come back to finish it off and you can have your say. And that's apparently when they pressured her to start going Stella and start going Alyssa.
So then I'll ask you the question, why would you put that young man in a position where he was crying in the back of the stage, didn't want to go through the door, was very, very, very adamant that he didn't want any part to play in whatever they had all planned? I think that's cruel. I don't like it at all.
That is where part 2 of Joshua Fox's podcast comes in. So Chris, after they had finished up at Icebergs, paparazzi were found outside. They all turned on Joshua and said, that was you. How could you do this?
They were acting reportedly like
celebrities.
They were, celebrities trying to go out the back doors.
Must leave through the kitchen.
Yeah,
I love it. I live for this stuff.
At this point, nobody knew who they were, apart from them saying, oh, we're the new Mafs cast of 2026.
Yes.
You don't need to run out a back door.
But what fun's that going through the normal door? We want drama. We want intrigue. Do you know how much Icebergs charge?
No. Have you ever been?
Yeah, they would be absolutely.
Oh, really?
Did you say I'm Chrissie Hearn?
Don't you know who I am?
Caps in?
No, Dal. I do that at McDonald's and they still don't know who I am.
Yeah.
Some people still ask, are you Christian Hull's mother?
Oh, really? Even after the
When are you
shirt.
going to say yes?
Breaking news.
Chrissie Hearn is actually Christian Hull's mother.
Yeah, Christian, my love child.
Yeah. Anyway, get back to Chris. So Chris, I think, was really strong-armed into staying, because as we know through Joshua Fox's podcast, Chris had actually planned to leave. So Chris caught wind that Brooke was going to leave at this ceremony. So he had actually booked flights to fly out at 7 o'clock the next day. He didn't. Why didn't he? I'm going to let you have to listen to Joshua Fox's for most of that. I will give you a little teaser, though, is that he was making some threats towards Joshua throughout the night, and then ended up calling him as they've all left through paparazzi flashbangs.
Without knowing all of this, I thought, what a dick. Putting the gum over the cameras and giving the ups to the camera, and the producers are actually saying, now, Chris, you're going to slide out of the car and you need to be nice. Clearly, he's not a very nice person. And
the management and the issues, big time.
Yeah, I think he was really put out that he had to stay, because apparently he was dragged into meetings with management after it was revealed the next morning what had gone on.
Yeah.
So I believe he was probably strong-armed into staying, and I think that's where he was so annoyed, was like, hold on, Brooke's now left before me.
Yes.
That's not fair. She doesn't have to be put through the ringer. She's just gone and isn't coming back. And yet I have to stay here and make her look good. That's not fair.
She showed herself. I saw her when she was at the red flags, green flag, and I was so surprised at her behaviours towards the other women.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, hang on, why have we shifted so much from the nice girl down the aisle, then we've got the honeymoon, and then we're showing this? I'm thinking, gosh.
Yes, so this is my curiosity with that stand session. Why have we not been shown it from the very beginning? Why now, after everything has kicked off, and we really only see the dinner party? So I'm not sure how long this stand thing has legs, unless the rest of the season is an absolute shit show. Then I don't understand why it's just kicking off from the dinner party.
Well, this is a second dinner party.
Yes, but it's only just kicked off.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, absolutely. Now, there was talk about some illicit substances in the mix. There was also discussion about the police being involved. None of that was discussed.
No, there will be a weekly drug test.
Yes.
Why do you think that's so important that they brought that up?
There's vision out there, and I've seen a couple of videos.
Yeah.
This is now a cast that is being tested weekly for illicit substances. The police have been called in. I don't know if you've seen any social media clips where they've been sitting with producers on balconies and hiding themselves. So they are all across them now. I think that we are only seeing the tip of the iceberg, and if Josh continues, and I will make sure I listen to both of these podcasts that he's putting out there, I think we have never seen such stuff, as in we've never seen the goings on of any reality TV. I think we're coming into uncharted territory here.
Yeah.
Especially after last season, what happened, and also knowing that one couple has already dropped off the radar. So there were actually 10, and they only previewed 9 because one, I believe, was kicked out after the first dinner party. May have that wrong. But the first lot, and they were told not to even mention them.
I can't believe at the end of last year, I'm thinking, well, that can't get any worse.
Yes.
That is the worst that we'll ever see. Changes will be made. And now we've got contestants, and they're playing games. Let's face facts.
They're monetizing the absolute absurdity of what's going on. So to the fact that they have now monetized through Stan and a behind the scenes just goes to show you how bad it's going to get.
It's just
as far as I'm concerned.
One of the comments is, Channel 9 wanted drama. Well, they got mean girls and pretty boys. This is bloody ridiculous. And they are the most obnoxious cows on the show. I will not be watching. I've tuned out.
Yes. Now, interesting, and something that I did want to bring up is, have we gone too far? So do we love that they've gone rogue, or has reality TV gone too far? Because I remember when The Block started and it was home renovations. And I guess we could say the same thing too about some of the cooking shows. And then it has moved progressively into more drama, less whatever it was intended to be.
Do we love it? Yes.
Do we love the drama? Yes. Is it going now too far and it's beyond the point of what the show was intended to be?
Yeah.
Look, I love reality TV, but I like nice, clean, non-mean girls, non-breaking people in the back of, cars or standing out the back waiting to enter a room. I want to see drama. I love the drama, but I think it's a little bit too close to home. I don't want to see icebergs. I don't want to see police. I want to be taken on a love story, the likes of what we've had previously when we've had contestants that have fallen in love, like Cameron and the fabulous Jules. Like that to me, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But we love it dirty. We love the drama. The more drama, the better the ratings.
Yeah.
But then do we love seeing the consequence? Because I don't feel like we do with this. We just see them getting berated by the experts. We don't actually see them being held accountable for the things that have been said and done. So it's one thing to show the drama and actually go, do you know what? And someone actually mentioned in our comments, I thought I'd left all this behind in school, and here we are still dealing with it in adulthood. And so I think it's interesting to show that some people never change, and you will have these people that in life you will have to deal with, and you just have to find a way to navigate around that. But then there's also no follow through. And so because of this action, no one stood up. And I think that's what a lot of people are saying is, well, I don't know if I would have stood up, because I feel like that's quite Mean Girls and there was a lot of them together. And a lot of people coming for Mel saying she just sat there complacent and said nothing, and bystanders should be held to account as well. We saw Grayson say, calm down. We saw a few of David going, don't talk to my wife like that. But no one actually stopped it and said, this is enough.
One other person said the fact that the husband sit by and just watch says volumes. And there was only one husband that should have stepped up there. So I'm assuming they're talking about Chris. He'd already checked out. He had a plane ticket. I think we need to take the producers and Endemol Shine into accountability.
Absolutely. 110%. I totally agree with you. The duty of care, I just don't see that there is any, to be honest. I think that they throw these producers in and they say, we want a top ranking show. We want drama. We want all the mean girls coming to the forefront. Whatever you can get out of these girls. And you can't tell me that these girls haven't got this in them already.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just have someone say, oh, yes, you are a awful person. I just don't see, I think that they have brought up stuff, they've filled it with alcohol, and they've gone rogue.
That's it. Where is the producer's responsibility to ensure that the cast aren't drinking too much and aren't chatting with the alcohol mouth?
I did also read in the Women's Day article that Brooke had said she had had 2 bottles of champagne before she even got to the dinner party that night after a 4-hour car trip.
She really wasn't pregnant then, though.
No. So it's definitely...
But it's also interesting because Bec, I don't know if you've noticed in previous episodes, but she had always a glass of wine. So they're fueling. I would love to know what the length of filming is from the moment they get in the car to when they're putting them in the holding pen to they go in. Alcohol is flowing.
Yes.
And if you're not eating either.
Yeah, I think that's it as well. Just another comment that we got was, I think we might possibly be in for a turnaround with Mel in the future also. As the episode progressed, she seemed less and less on board with what they were saying and sides with Dani. Doesn't believe that he said it, which is a good point that I want to talk about. So we always know that they have a villain edit, that they want to go to someone and turn them into villain, which we still saw with Chris from the start.
Yeah.
But then we also saw that with Mel. A lot of the editing can happen after. So do we think that they've turned on who they want the villain edit to be with because they now know that Brooke has set a whole lot of shit up in the air?
No. So I saw a post of Ree from last year.
Yeah.
And she said that there's no such thing as a bad edit. So we know that you can chop and change and put things together and paste it, and it kind of comes out as a different story. But what Ree is saying is that there's no such thing as a bad edit, because what people say and what you see on TV, they've said it. It doesn't matter what context, they've said it.
I agree with what's being said, but I don't know that Mel has... She said a few things, but I don't know that it's really... I think they've edited her very heavily to look like the villain. And I think they set her up as well. To send her down an aisle where there's no groom, they did that intentionally.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So I think that I feel like they really did set her up with the villain in it until all of this stuff went down with Brooke and Chris, and then they turned it. Because I believe maybe it was Jackie from last year had said, if you don't comply with what they want, or if you go and talk to someone or go and do something outside of what you should be doing, they threaten you with a bad edit.
Mm. Oh.
So I understand that you can say things and that's not editing, although there is frank and grab. So yeah. I don't know. But I believe that there can be a very hard edit.
I think that she probably, and this is a looks thing, and I'm going to mention this because this is personal for me as well. It is noted that she has big ears. So I would suggest that perhaps she may have been teased when she was younger, and she probably wasn't part of that popular group. And now she's loving it. I also had big ears and chose to get my ears pinned back when I was in my early 20s, because even though I got along with everyone, I was teased quite harshly about my ears. So I believe that this is probably her chance, and the reason she's not speaking up when she's in those circles and choosing not to move away, because let's not forget, you can choose to get up and walk away, is that she wants to be there. She wants to be a part of it. So
I see Mel as someone that's desperate to be brought into a group, who's desperate to be belonging, all of that. You saw her at the dinner party where she was giddy, she was laughing, she was a completely different person when she was sitting with the girls. For her, it's all about being approved of, being part of something, and I see her as a bit of a follower. So I don't see that she's got the maturity to stand up to these bigger personalities, and I don't think we will see her stand up. I think she's going to be in the shadows and following along with whatever they want her to be part of.
Which is interesting, because Joshua says that she was very quiet at Icebergs. Her and Luke barely spoke at Icebergs. So I started to think, well, that's interesting. So if they barely spoke, then it wouldn't be them who invited him down to Icebergs. And we know that it probably wasn't Rebecca. The reason it was probably not her is because he says that they messaged and said, you and your partner going to be there? So we know that Rebecca obviously didn't have a partner then. It wasn't Luke and Mel, because he said they barely spoke. My guess is it sits on either Gia or Bec.
It's Bec for sure, because Gia said, we all know you're a snitch, to Bec. But I also believe, because Josh did say that it was more than one person had contacted him. So I also think it might have been Gia and possibly Brooke as well. At the end of the day, it probably was Brooke that contacted him, because she was leaving. She'd already got her ticket and was out the door. So she didn't care what went down.
What do you think's going to happen now? Do you see it settling down, everybody finding their new standing within the dynamic? I think we're at the iceberg. I think that there's more going on that we're going to see.
Well, they're just about to bring more people on.
Yeah. Did you see 3 more brides and grooms?
No.
And I just don't understand how this could get any better.
For them to bring 3 more couples in also alludes to the fact that we've lost Brooke and Chris.
We know that they definitely go.
Yeah.
We've lost Stephen and
Rebecca.
Yeah. So they're going. And I'm I did read that Mel and Luke don't stick around for very long. So I'm thinking they might go soon.
Interesting. But who do we think is going to end up at the end? Who's going to make it all the way to the end?
Do we even care?
Look, I think it's going to be a shit show.
I think it's a shit show.
I really love Stella. I dig Stella. I think that she looks like a CIA operative. Like she's from an action movie where she's like an undercover agent, because the way that she just watched Brooke unload and she's like, do you notice how long you've been talking and I haven't said anything? And she just sat there and it really threw Brooke, and I loved that. It was like, hold on, she's not biting back. And I just have to keep filling the air with words, which I didn't plan for.
I loved it when you had this cutaway where, I bet she's sitting in the room talking about me and thinking about me. And then you see her cut where she's completely involved with whatever was happening, had no even thoughts about what was going on with her. I like her. I think she's a really strong woman, and I like the fact that she called it out on the couch.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, here we go. She's going to be able to stand up for herself. Her husband, Philip, I thought was very encouraging of her.
Yeah, I really love those two.
I do as well. I think she's calm. I think she's composed, and she's my queen. And I suppose if a couple does make it to the end, it might be Stella and Philip, but I don't see them lasting. I don't see any of these couples lasting.
Not this year. No, I think there's been far too much drama going on. How much are they getting paid for this weekly? Do we know?
From what I've heard through last year, it's minimum wage. Now, last year they said they didn't get any clothing allowances, and I don't even think they got a food allowance.
This year they've got $300 meal allowance per couple per week, and I believe $1,070 something,
which is minimum wage. Yeah.
I'll ask you the question. If you could ask any of the current cast a question, who would it be you would ask it to, and what would the question be?
I would like to know what going on Mafs has taught them.
Okay.
What have you learned from going on Mafs?
Mine's a little lighter than that. Mine, I would talk to Luke and I would ask him, did you in fact apply for farm supplies?
I love it.
You know what I saw? Another farmer's coming on.
Another farmer. See, and that's Endemol Shine getting their list from another show.
Luke's getting his grass cut.
God love him. I would ask, I think, why did he not just kiss his wife?
Yes.
Why did you just not just kiss her?
A lot of people were commenting that they thought he was actually sabotaging himself, that what he was saying about him not being attracted to Rachel wasn't necessarily the truth. That's their thoughts. And that he was just worried that she would reject him after the kiss. Because he doesn't really seem too self-assured of himself, does he? Like he's
not at all. Not at all.
I love him. He's probably one of my
I really like his character. To me, he comes across as quite a genuine person, but I see that he's losing his confidence. And then I see it ever so slightly drifting away.
I wonder if that just had a lot to do with it being intimacy week and it being very uncomfortable for him. I wonder if he might come back around now after we've moved on to something else.
Just to that though, I'm wondering whether Rachel indirectly is crushing his confidence, because she's quite stern.
What can I do? Let me help you pack? Like, I can't say that.
Why are you saying that?
Because there's no dummy paper down there. Stock up. Who knows how long I'll be down there. Jesus Christ. Everything that I've done to make this a home.
Taking this. Definitely taking this.
I'm going to take that away. You are responsible for this. I think it's going to sink in for Stephen when he comes home and goes, holy shit. Like, she actually made this apartment a home for us. I'm choosing me today. Oh, yeah, I am happy about that choice.
Angry.
That, to me, if I was Stephen, I would think that she's absolute cray-cray.
It would be a huge red flag, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah.
Huge red flag.
I do think she's there for a genuine reason, but I just think she's bit hard.
Yeah, I agree.
So I recently watched a documentary that came on Netflix, and I think it was called Reality Check, something along those lines. And what it did was it talked about America's Next Top Model, and it went through the seasons and I guess how it's aged. It actually had a resurgence back in COVID time when everyone was in lockdown looking for something with multiple seasons so that they could get their fill while they were stuck at home. What came from that was a new generation of people looking at it through a different lens, going, how could you make people change their race for a photo? How could you call them fat, tell them that they don't have a look for fashion? How could you do that? I think that the important thing to remember is that actually was how it was 25 years ago. The fashion industry was hard. You had to be a size 0. If we look at Victoria's Secret models, there was no hippie girls in there. I remember a Dove campaign somewhere around the early to mid 2000s was really pushing a new wave of thinking, which was everybody, every size, every type. So it really was how things were for the fashion industry. They weren't being horrible or mean, although that's how it comes across. They were being realistic with the expectations of that industry. My question is, with this Married at First Sight, in 2 decades' time, what will not stand the test of time? What will someone look back on and go, I can't believe they made them share a bed, or I can't believe they made them get married, or I can't believe they made them do intimacy? What do you think is not going to stand the test of time 2 decades
The show
on?
itself. The show itself. I think they're going to say, I cannot believe they let that go to air.
Which interestingly, they have actually, someone's actually come out and commented and gone, the 9 minutes that should never have come to air.
Yeah. I also think that the concept of marriage, Gen Z are kind of already showing that they're prioritizing themselves and their self-care. They're more situationships rather than marriages. I think by the time that Generation Alpha, so another 20, 25 years, are where we're at, there'll be less human interaction because it'll be all over computers. So that whole concept of why did they ever have Married at First Sight? Because we meet each other on the internet now, or
AI relationships.
That's right. They won't actually, there'll be less babies, that's for sure, because people just won't get it out.
They can't afford
human
to
interaction.
either.
Yeah. So I think it's going to change massively. The whole concept, Married at First Sight, why would we have even had it?
Yeah.
I want to come back to Big Brother. I miss the old Big Brother.
Yeah.
I miss the old Married at First Sight when they went in naively and, you know, Sorrell's tipping red wine over Martha's head. And that was the scandal of that whole series. And here we are looking at women who are not supporting women and that are bullying and are mean girls. And I worry that that's what we are all going to become, this society of people putting, instead of lifting up, we're pulling down. And you know, what are we teaching our young girls? That the only way to get through is to be pretty.
Yeah, and to be so easily manipulated if what they're saying they want us to buy. Like, they told me to do it. They pushed me into it. To be so easily manipulated for someone who comes across as so strong, I don't know. I'm
going to be a little bit controversial, right? We're all fucking adults.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it doesn't sit well with you in the gut, like if you're thinking, no, that's not how I was raised, that's not how I know how to behave in front of people that I don't know, then you pull yourself up and you say, no, I'm not doing it that way. I'm sorry. It's not part of who I am as a person, and you can't make me do it.
That's not a good portrayal of the general woman.
No, because it pulls us back. It doesn't pull us forward. It pulls us back into this age where women were bitchy, nasty, catty.
It's horrible that they're setting the show up to be like this. Everyone said last year, oh, I think Mafs might be cancelled after this. And then I was surprised personally when they announced they were going to have another season. And now it's tenfold.
I did wonder how they would make this show different to last year, and I was so convinced that they couldn't ever do what they did last year again. and have the same ratings. And a lot of people are saying, I've had enough of it. I'm turning off. I'm not watching it. I'm not supporting this kind of action or the encouragement that this is getting. But really, all I can see is that they've just added an extra show to monetize the absolute filthy behavior behind the scenes.
And it's Stan.
Yeah.
It's streaming.
Anyway, I guess this just goes to prove that I was right. You can't be pretty and not be a bitch.
Well,
no such thing as a 1%ers.
we thought maybe, but no.
No.
Well, I'm still holding fast to nice, kind. I'm holding fast to that.
Yeah. That'll see me through more than my looks will.
You know who I actually have changed my opinions about, speaking of nice, is Scott.
Really?
So right at the start, I did not really like him at all. Yes, he could have spoken to Gia and said, calm down, don't do. But as we know in the background, there's already cracks forming there. I think he's probably doing the right thing by keeping out of it and keeping composed. I don't think there's any win-win situation. If he joins in on any conversation, it's not going to be good for him. So I think he's probably doing the best thing that he can do.
Look, I just hope that he learns Gia's daughter's name. That's all my hope is, that he knows what the name of the child is. And
yes, if they want to bring more drama, bring that. Bring the whole episode of him trying to find out what her daughter's name is. That'd be fun.
I love it. I think that's hilarious. What stage of boring do we reach?
Well, that's right.
So I guess, go on.
I just love the comments coming in, guys. We read them. We're there for it. We comment back. Please keep the comments coming in, because it's given us a lot of conversation topics tonight. So hope we've addressed everything that you have wanted to know.
And maybe a bit more that you didn't want to know, but now that you do know.
There's no going back. Stan is your behind the scenes. Women's Day is just giving the article that Brooke wanted out there. And Joshua Fox, make sure you go follow him, because I feel like it's a really good insight. I think it's that behind the scenes.
I think you guys need to invite him onto your podcast.
So speaking of podcasts, Chrissie, tell us about what you've got going on.
So we've got Christian and I. We're about to head into our new adventure with We Will Always Have, where I drive him nuts and he puts up with me. Anything could possibly happen. I think I'm foreseeing in our future an overseas trip.
Ooh.
And you know why I love an overseas trip? Because it kicks off from the moment you have to leave the house, because that 3-hour wait at the airport is not fun.
Yeah. Let's just be truthful here, okay? There'll be no interaction. There'll be Christian at the front of the plane, and there'll be me back in economy with all the other peoples, and he'll be turning around and giving me a little wave. He'll be a champagne glass and an Aperol spritz in either hand, and a nice little sleepy peepees, and wake up with dribble down your face and you're offloading. That'll be me. Christian will get off very refreshed.
And what about Still Social? Tell me about
Still
that.
Social. Still Social is my passion pop, where I'm building a community for women over 40 who are looking just to find friendship. And, life changes, and sometimes you kind of sit back and you think to yourself, well, where did that person go? And you're kind of waiting for someone to call, and it doesn't happen. So it's really exciting. We're starting to build a real little community, which I'm very, very proud of. And we've got our cruise coming up, and we've got lots of things planned. And Max, my eldest son, is an absolute website genius. The website's looking amazing, and it's really exciting.
I love that.
Awesome.
So thank you again, as always, for your continued support. Just love your guts, big time, girls.
Back at you. Back at you. That's what we are. We are actually women supporting women.
Absolutely. Gosh, can't be
Ladies,
doing without it.
That is how it's done.
Let's lift up, not be a cow.
Absolutely. And on that, thank you for joining us, Chrissie, and everyone. We will be back in your ears next week with whatever unravels on Mafs. Thank you for tuning in, and we cannot wait to talk to you next week. From everyone here at What She Said, bye.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Oh, you're funny.